Okay, so we're going to get started with our crackling bread. Crackling bread is cornbread with cracklings cooked in it. When I first tasted it, I was like, yeah, yeah. But then after I started to eat it, it's very, very good. What are pork cracklings? Pork cracklings is the pig of the skin, and it's cooked down to render the fat off of it so that you could eat it as a snack. You may remember seeing it in the store like this. Maybe some people call them skins, chicharrones, what have you. These are pork cracklings, and that's what they say on the package. So let's go into the history of pork cracklings. Where did they come from? Who thought of it? Well, it says that they originated in the West Midlands, or they would call it black countries, as it was known to be called, which was in the 1800s. So what we're going to be doing is making crackling cornbread. You could almost basically use any cornbread recipe and add cracklings to it. So what I have is a cornbread recipe that I have came up with, and I'm going to be adding my cracklings to my cornbread. So what I'm going to do is get my things together, and then I'll be back to get started. Okay, so we're going to get started on our crackling bread, but before I do, I wanted to share these with you. You know how you have regular measuring spoons, and it gives you your 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon, etc. Well, you know how back in the olden days, you would ask a family member, well, how'd you make that? Oh, a pinch of this and a pinch of that and a quarter of a pinch of this. They never gave you direct measurements. Well, we were like, well, how do we know what a pinch is? Well, my husband went online and he found, let me put this down so you could see it. He found these measuring spoons, and each spoon gives you a nip, a smidgen, because you know they say a smidgen. This is a pinch measuring spoon, and this is a dash. I thought they were so interesting that I had to share them with you. So these are very cool. Next time someone says, oh, you just use a dash, there's your dash. So let me get started on the cornbread. So here's what I'm using. In my mixing bowl right here, I have a cup of flour and a cup of cornmeal, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. So that's my dry ingredients. So what I'm going to do is pour them into my bowl. And I usually mix my dry ingredients with a whisk, a small whisk, just to get them all mixed together. So now that I have them in this big bowl, I can go ahead and stir them even more, like so. And that's just to get everything incorporated, so, you know, you don't have too much of this on one side of your bread and too much of that on the other side. So what I'm going to add to this is my milk. Okay, so what I'm adding to this is my milk. This is a cup of buttermilk, which I love buttermilk. I don't like to drink it, but I love the way it tastes in cornbread and biscuits. So let's get all that in. And then to that, what I'm going to add is a 1/4 cup of water. That's a 1/4 cup of water. Okay. So to that, I'm going to add 1 egg. Let's break that up and put it in here. And to that, I'm going to add my butter, which my butter is salted. If you're using salted butter, you really don't have to put salt into your mixture. So I'm going to just take this and mix it up so that it gets all incorporated, like so. You can mix it with a mixer if you want. You don't have to do it with your hand. But I just find it easier to go ahead and mix it with one of these things right here. So now that I have that all mixed up, I'm going to pour my cracklins in. Now, sometimes people take these and they soak them before they put them in to get them soft, but during the cooking process, they're gonna all come back. So, I'm just gonna kind of mix them up because I don't want great big chunks of it. And a good thing too about the buttermilk, it helps to reconstitute your cracklins. Okay. So, let's get this all mixed and incorporate it. And they're crunchy enough that when you hit them with this, they crunch. As I said, people use these as a snack. I love eating them. Okay. So, I've got those all in. Now, back in the day, they used the fat that they render from the pork skins to pour into their bread batter. But because I poured butter in, there we go. Okay. Okay, so I have my oven heating to 425 because that's what I'm going to cook this on. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and scrape my cornbread batter out of this thing because the cracklins get stuck in between there. And the whisk, which it looks like there we go. Let's get that one out. Come on out of there. You can't escape it. There we go. Let's put that there. So, I have my cast iron skillet. If you don't have one of these, get you one. They're the best thing for making cornbread. And you don't have to buy them new. You can go get them rusted at the, what do you call it? I'm going to tell you how you clean them. You can go get one that's rusted because a lot of people throw them away when they're rusted. You can put it into a self-cleaning oven and it will clean that thing so beautifully until it looks brand new. You'll have to reseason it probably. So what I'm going to do is pour all of my cornbread mix in here, like so. And that's my oven saying it's ready for the cornbread. So I poured it all in here. Just going to make sure it's all spread out. And I'm going to put it in the oven and cook it until it's ready to eat. Probably for about, I would say 20 minutes, maybe more. Okay, so what we're getting ready to do is to check our cornbread to make sure it's done. So let's go into the oven. Let's take it out. Oh, wow. Nice golden brown. That looks so delicious. Let me stick something in there because sometimes you think things are done. And then once you stick a spoon in it, you find out if it's done or not. So let's stick this in here. Oh yeah. Deliciously done. Okay, so this is our crackling cornbread and what I'm going to do. Okay, so here is a bowl of our chili beans with crackling cornbread. And it looks absolutely delicious. Let's take a taste. Let's try our bread. This is our bread. It's nice, light, and fluffy. Delicious. And the cracklins cooked in just perfectly. It's like once you put them in there, they reconstitute themselves and they become soft again and you're not crunching. But then some people like to crunch. Let's try another one with the cracklins. Hot, but delicious. So, thank you for joining me on this episode of Exploring Food with Smitty. This is Black History Month, so stay tuned for some recipes from our Black culture. Like, share, and by all means, subscribe. And we'll be coming back to you with another recipe. Thanks for joining me.